Wingy Boxing IFL TV in association with MTK Global. I'm here with Head of Boxing at Sky Sports, Adam Smith. I've collared you again. We're going to be friends soon, mate. I keep bumping into you all the time. We're going to duck being mates, I don't know. Right, so it's close. Have your thoughts changed? I spoke to you about 2 or 3 days ago. Now that it's actually here, sometimes opinions change, don't they? Now we're closer. That monster, Usyk, the other side of Bellew. What type of fight do you think we're going to see?
I think we're going to see a wonderful fight. I mean, it can't not be with Alexander Usyk's quality that he brings into the ring. You know, Olympic champion, world champion, European gold medalist. He won everything as an amateur. I think sometimes the pedigree, obviously, as important as it is, the transition into the pros, we've seen recently with Daniel Yunusanov, it's taking a little bit of time. Sometimes the amateur to pro transition is not spectacular and it takes a while. It didn't take Alexander Usyk 5 minutes. I mean, I was in camp with Vladimir Klitschko before the Tyson Fury fight with Johnny Nelson, and Alexander Usyk just impressed us so much with his attitude, with the way he went about his sparring with Vladimir. He gave him all sorts of trouble, and we pegged him there as the one to keep an eye on, and I know Johnny believes he could become the greatest cruiserweight that's ever lived. I think if he wins on Saturday night, he'll go up to the heavyweight division, and I think it could be a real problem for some of the heavyweights if he's as good as he makes out. He looks the part, he's big, he's mobile, he's got decent power, he's got wonderful mobility, he's got fantastic hands, he's got great timing, and he's a southpaw as well. And you know, and he trains ferociously hard out in the Ukraine. My team are out there with him. So look, he is the monster. He is the perfect one of the pound for pound kings with all the belts. You know, 4 world title belts, the Ring magazine, and that's just what Tony Bellew wants, isn't it? He loves the challenges. He's proved it against Makabu, proved it twice against David Haye. Is this a step too far? Is this the final hurrah for Tony Bellew, win or lose? There's so much in the pot on Saturday night, and one thing I think we're guaranteed is a phenomenal atmosphere in Manchester. Back to the Ricky Hatton days. Yes, it's not just about a Manchester fighter, but Tony Bellew is not just the pride of Liverpool. He's got a whole country behind him because they love the Rocky story. I think it will be electric on Saturday, and I think that will help Tony, and I think it will drive him to one of his, you know, hardest and most, you know, everything's going to go into the pot on Saturday for Tony Bellew. Will it be enough? It's a tough ask, it really is.
Can you envisage a situation where Tony actually wins this on points? Because it keeps going on saying, everybody says, I'm just going to knock him out. Well, that's what I'm going to do, what everybody expects. I'm just going to knock him out, I'm just going to knock him out. But the more he says that, the more I think that they're actually thinking that they're going to try and box their way into the fight. Could you see that happening?
I think they've got to box at times.
Yeah.
They may counterpunch. Listen, I mean, Tony could go for it and try and catch him cold, but that's high risk. He could bide his time. He's got a beautiful jab, Tony. It's underrated. He was a great amateur himself. Let's not forget that. He was very accomplished, but nowhere near the classy skills that Usyk's got. So he's got to do it his way. What he's very wise at is judging distance in a ring and making his opponents fight his sort of fight. And that's what he's got to do. He's got to interrupt the Usyk rhythm. Because if Usyk gets going and he starts flowing, it's going to get harder and harder for Tony. Even down the stretch, I think he's got to get some success in the first half of the fight. He might be losing rounds, but I think that jab has got to work. I think he's got to bring boxing and he's got to mix it up. And maybe down the stretch he's got to hope that Usyk will tire, or that maybe, you know, he can come on strong. It's really hard. I think it's hard because of the weight making for Tony Bellew, down a cruiserweight for the first time in 2 years. We know it's his last fight, or at least we're told it's his last fight, so he's got that in the back of his mind. And okay, he will give it everything, but Usyk is fresh, he's got momentum, he's the awkward southpaw. Yeah, it's a real hard ask. So look, could he knock him out? Of course he could. Tony could knock anyone out, and he's a great finisher. If you got Usyk hurt, he could finish him. But as I said, it's a mighty challenge. He's got 12 rounds to do it. I can't personally see Bellew winning on points, but then look, Tony and Dave surprise us, and they've got their tactics worked out, and you never know. You know, Usyk he's not invincible. He's been unbeaten as a professional, but you know, he's not invincible. There are occasional flaws. He was flawed as an amateur to body shots. You know, let's see what Tony can bring to the ring. But there's a lot going against Tony Bellew in this fight.
What went through your mind when you first heard about Floyd Mayweather fighting Nasukawa? Did you think he needs to stay retired? There's loads of hungry 147s out there. From your perspective, just what went through your mind?
Very little interest.
Right, okay.
To be honest, I've gone on record so many times as saying that Floyd Mayweather, in my opinion, is the greatest fighter to lace him up since Sugar Ray Leonard. I've had the privilege of being in his gym a number of times. I've never seen a better gym fighter. I've never seen a better fighter to commentate on in front of me, 6 feet from ringside. I think he was an absolute phenomenon, Floyd Mayweather. Look, money, fame, limelight, whatever it is, still talk. Maybe he's bored. Maybe he just wants to challenge.
Because he's pulled out of it now, hasn't he?
It's all over. What a surprise, you know. I mean, will he fight Khabib? Will he fight Conor again? Will he fight Pacquiao again? Will he not fight? I don't really want to see him fight again. What's the point? You know, he's proved everything. He's a multi-weight champion. As I said, he's the greatest fighter of his generation. He's got tons of money. Why? You know, is he burning through that money? Is he, you know, how much has he made? You know, or is it the boredom? Is it the lack of you know, the light and the glory? I don't know. I really hold little interest now because, in my opinion, Floyd's done what he's proved.
He's done it all, yeah.
I think so, and I just sort of, Conor McGregor was interesting in that it was a crossover thing, and you know, it had a bit of, you know, honestly, to boxing people all knew what was going to happen in that fight, and yes, it was a great theatrical event, and it was a lot of fun, and Conor was terrific value, but look, I don't really want to see Floyd in the ring again. Listen, we watch it if he fights Pacquiao. We watch it if he fights another 147-pounder. You know, Amir Khan still dreams, but you know, yes, of course we would. It's Floyd Mayweather, and if Floyd Mayweather does something, you know, the world takes interest. But you know, what happened out there, really, it didn't.
Kell Brook versus Michael Zarafa, December the 8th.
Yep.
We know what that's about. That's for Kell to sort of, without it being disrespectful, get out there, shake the rust off, so to speak.
Yep. Needs to.
What situation are we at, as far as you know, with the negotiations? Because there's a rehydration clause that's causing an issue. From what you've heard, are we anywhere? Is the fight close to happening, do you think?
I think it's closer. I think that they're both running out of options and running out of time. I think Amir needs Kell and Kell needs Amir. And I think Amir is trying to get him to welterweight and the rehydration clause, everything that he can to help his side. Yeah, it depends how much Kell wants to fight. I think Kell wants to fight so much. So I think that he will end up signing for it. Who knows what the stipulations will be, what weight they'll end up being. As I've said to you before, I don't really care. I just want the fight to happen. Eddie's got to sit in the room and not let them out until him, Shah, Terry, and Kell have come to some sort of a decision for the fight fans that have waited for this for so long. I see it hopefully as happening in the spring, and I've said to Eddie, let's have a rematch. If it's a great fight, you have a rematch in the summer, a stadium fight, it becomes like a Froch Groves, and it's great for the end of their careers, the Indian summer for both of them. It's fantastic. You know, it's a fight that's got to happen, and you know, let's get it made now.
And Crawley Jordan, good fight, isn't it?
Good fight.
It's one of those fights where you research Jordan if you don't know, sit and watching some of his types, and he's
tough. Tough boy,
fast
tough,
hand.
tough,
How do you think
fast
that's going to go
hands.
for Crawler?
Tough,
Because it's
fast
another
hands,
one,
strong.
isn't
He
it?
could beat
Difficult.
Crawler. Crawler
Yeah.
could beat him. It's a 50-50 fight. It's a really interesting fight. Crawler will have the home advantage, but possibly he asked the question at the press conference, so people think I'm sliding. You know, he says Joe Gallagher says he's better than ever. Is he? He's had a couple of losses to Jorge Linares now. Yes, he beat Ricky Burns, but is he what he was 3 or 4 years ago? Maybe he is. He trains so hard. He's always in great shape, Anthony Crawler, but he is what he is, I think. And you know, Jordan is what he is. And I think they're a great match, a great mesh of styles. I think it will be a 12-round war. I think it'll be fantastic to watch. It's a great chief support for the main event. I think Crawler will probably find enough energy from the crowd to get through.
Normally I'm up on the boxing news, but for some reason Cardle and Burns slipped me. I missed that announcement, and then when I saw it at the public workout, I thought, that's actually a nice little fight when you think about it. The styles, the way they gel. What do you think about that? How do you think that's going to play out?
That's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an intriguing fight because both of them need a win. You know, Scotty Carter was going to fight Joe Cordina for the Commonwealth title, and you know, shame not to have Cordina on the bill. But ironically, Cordina, who trains with Ricky Burns and would have been sparring together, said, you know, Ricky, it's your chance. Ricky goes in, he needs a fight. He was going to fight in Kansas next week. And we thought, look, his name adds to the box office card. It's an interesting fight, you know. You've got to fancy Burns' experience, you know, 3-weight world champion. Cardle, former British champion, obviously coming off the bad defeat to Ritson. He's had one since. He's changed camps. He's with Matt Ellis now, former Blackpool heavyweight. And look, he says he's rejuvenated. He's got to prove it in the ring, Scotty Cardle. I think it'll be nip and tuck. I think it'll be a tactical battle for 10 rounds. I think it'll be, they both have their moments. But yeah, for the winner, it opens doors again. For the loser, you got to wonder where they're going to go. Ricky says he wants to fight on and on. I mean,
he always says that. He always says that, doesn't he?
Unbelievable. He loves it, and he says, when he gets his face bashed up and when he comes out and he looks like he's ready, he'll go. But that question of retirement that Tony's asking himself, that Carl Froch asked himself recently, that my colleague Paulie Malignaggi did as well. When do you have that last fight? Last fights are they don't normally end up well, like Ricky Hatton had. He lost to Mayweather and Pacquiao. Should he have come back for that Rabchenko fight? Probably not, but he did, and they want to get it out of their system. And I said to Ricky the other day, I said, what we should do, whatever happens, we should have something in Scotland to finish it off, because he deserves that. He's been a phenomenal fighter for Scotland, a wonderful story. He's a perfect example of someone who's been, not only a lovely guy to be around, but a consummate and dedicated professional, taken nothing for granted. He kept his job in the sports shop in Coatbridge for so long. He's a great guy and a great advocacy for boxing. I really, really respect Ricky Burns, but at some time he's got to say enough's enough, and I think a defeat on Saturday night, I think, would mark the end. For Cardle, if he loses, he's got to look at himself. The manner of defeat will be how it is. But if it's a good 10-round chess match and an intriguing one for the spectators, maybe both can come off it. But it's a good fight.
Well, Adam Smith, I don't know if you ever get anything done with me grabbing you for 10 minutes at a time every time, but thanks for speaking to Wingy Boxing, IFL TV, and we look forward to the fight. It's going to be a great event, I think.
Should be great.